You'll often hear me say around here, you can never have too many stormtroopers, and I think my collection exemplifies that. Let's get into this. All right, welcome to another episode of Paul's Collectibles. It's good to have you, and I appreciate you joining me. Today, we're going to be talking about some more vintage collection 3 3/4 inch action figures, and I have the 4-pack of Thrawn's Night Troopers and Captain Enoch. Now, when they first released these, they seemed like they were going to be what we like to call an army builder, just 4 figures in a box that you could get out and don't have to worry about packaging or anything like that, that you could use to army build a display where you needed a lot of troopers. And then as they continued to release them, they started putting a single unique trooper in there, such as Waxer from one of the boxes, and this time Captain Enoch. And then sometimes we just get 4 rebel troopers or something to that effect. So I'm not calling this an army builder. I'm just calling it a 4-pack of Thrawn's Night Troopers. So with that, let's get these things in front of some lights, take a look at them, and see how they did. Okay, so there's the 4 troopers out of the box, and as usual, they came in these little plastic/papery bags, individually wrapped in sections inside the box. And the box on these is pretty standard. On the one side, you get the 4 different troopers that you're actually getting inside the box. And then on the panels, you get some different artwork. That's kind of new. We get one of the troopers, and the sides are just legalese, as is the bottom. And then on the other side, they have the 4 troopers you're going to get, but then they also round out the picture with a bunch of other troopers as well that aren't actually included. So to begin with, I have to tell you how impressed I am, because I had assumed there would be a ton of reuse and at least 2 of these guys would be exactly the same, but that does not appear to be the case. There only seems to be a little bit of reuse in the shin armor down here. You can see this one is the same as this one, and this one is the same as this one. But for the most part, I don't see any other reuse on these, which is kind of wild. Now, it's obviously just based off of the Rogue One Stormtrooper that we've been getting, which is the comprehensive Stormtrooper mold. And of course, Captain Enoch here has the most changes. Let's take a closer look at him. And to start with, up here, you can see he's got the Imperial cogs on his helmet, and he's got that face plate that he has installed on his helmet. And from a distance, it looks pretty good, but when you get right up close on the bottom parts of it here, you can see it kind of like the paint looks a little silly to me, but it's nothing to get too excited about, especially at this scale. And as you come on down, he's got the gold markings all over and some of the red. And then when you get down to the actual figure, unlike everybody else in this group, he actually has a holster that his blaster comes in, and the blaster is covered in gold as well, as if it's starting to fall apart. And the interesting thing about this is that unlike a lot of the clone troopers we get, these skirts are soft goods. This is not. This is that moldable plastic or whatever it's called. It's kind of a hard skirt, but the holster looks good. And when you come down to his knees, he's got a little bit of the gold weathering on there, but overall, not a bad looking figure. That's pretty cool, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm kind of surprised that they did as good a job as they did with the faceplate. Like I said, the only disappointing part maybe is right in there at the bottom. So the rest of these guys are pretty standard. They just have slight differentiation in each of their uniforms. This guy obviously has the gray at the bottom of his helmet and all the gold accents. And the other amazing thing about these is that this red through here, this isn't painted on. This is actually raised and sculpted in, which I'm kind of surprised they did. I thought they might, take the shortcut, the cheap and easy way, just paint that red on there. But as you can see, there's texture in these red ribbons on here as well. But that's what the second guy looks like. And each of them came with their E11 blaster. And unlike in the other 4-packs or the army builders we've been getting, there was no separate baggie with like long rifles or anything, at least that I found. And there's the third guy. He doesn't seem to have much gray on him. He's just got the ribbons, which, like I said, they're 3-dimensional. They're molded in. He's got a little bit of gold on his helmet, and as you come down, he's got a little bit of gold across the cod piece and on his thigh pieces. But he apparently had been taking a little bit better care of his armor, because he's not in quite as bad a shape as some of the other guys in this set. And then finally, here's the fourth. His helmet's really messed up. There's a lot of gray and gold on there. He's obviously not taken as good a care of his helmet as the rest of these guys did, apparently. And he has a bunch of ribbon on him as well. And like I said, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of reuse. This shoulder piece even looks different from one of them, but it's the same on another. So there's a little bit of reuse here and there, but it's not so much that you would notice or be disappointed. As you come down on this guy, he's got a little bit of ribbon on his calf and on his wrist as well. But yeah, they did a really good job on these. Once again, I'm just really ecstatic that this ribbon is molded in and you can actually feel the texture on it. But there you have it, just a quick look at the new Captain Enoch and the Night Troopers from the Ahsoka series, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but they did have these cool stormtroopers in there, so I did enjoy that, and I was happy that we got the figures. Now, once again, I will say this is not an army builder because it includes that unique figure. I think I would rather have had 4 Night Troopers like this, and they would have carded Captain Enoch. That would have been the best way to do this, but no one's asking me when they're making these decisions over at Hasbro. And in closing, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, maybe consider doing that for me. That's a great way to support my efforts here at Paul's Collectibles. And if you're already a subscriber or someone who's been watching my videos for a really long time, you already know. I greatly appreciate you. And with that, I'll see you on the next video.